for lack of a term, are taking over the punk rock scene. Their unique live sound and energetic performances have caught the eyes of many. With their recently released single, I'm Sorry Did My Back Hurt Your Knife, off of their upcoming record dropping December 7th, called Welcome to Your New Normal, please welcome, for lack of a term.
Hey!
Hello.
If you guys just want to introduce yourselves, so people listening to the non-video version know who's talking.
Cool. This is Chris. Hi. I'm the drummer. This is Ryan.
I am Ryan. I am the vocalist, and I play one of the guitars in the band as well.
You don't play all of the guitars at one time?
No,
Not from lack of him wanting to.
Yeah, I do keyboard stuff on the recordings as well.
Heck yeah.
If I could play multiple guitars at once, I definitely would try. I really would.
Let's get some extra arms grown. Let's figure that out. Why haven't we figured
I've always
this out?
wanted, like, Goro for Mortal Kombat. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
So just to kind of get things started, what was the first thing you guys listened to today?
The first thing... You want to answer that first?
Yeah. When I got in my car this morning, I listened to Block Party. I really like Block Party.
Nice.
Hunting for Witches is the first song that came on.
Nice.
Ryan, what you got?
You know what? I'm all about the chili peppers, man. Woo! Red hot chili peppers. That's how I start every morning.
Heck yeah. I mean, what a way to start your morning.
The first thing I really heard this morning was my girlfriend complaining, but that's neither here nor there.
Was it musical?
That's a different song.
Yeah. It was musical.
I've been really into the Lumineers in the last year.
Nice.
I don't know if it's just the isolation of me being alone and wanting to listen to the most acoustic guitars I can hear. And they just released a single, so I was right on top of it, listening to it in the last couple days. Yeah.
The Lumineers is a good place to get those vibes, definitely.
Yeah. So, let's talk about how you guys got into music separately. I know others in the band would be a different story, but for you guys, how did you guys get into music?
You want to go first?
Yeah, so in high school, I really didn't have much of a musical radar. On my iPod, I had maybe 40 songs, and they were all video game theme songs and theme songs for TV shows and stuff. So I didn't really listen to music, and then I met this girl. We're still really good friends. She had moved from Chicago, and she music was a very big part of her life, and that's how I actually started listening to the Chili Peppers, because she was like, hey, Chili Peppers are my favorite band. And I said, oh, I love the Chili Peppers, and I didn't know a thing about the Chili Peppers, and then I started to listen to them so I could talk to her about them, and then I realized that I had heard some of these songs on the radio, so I was actually pretty familiar, and then she kind of introduced me to a lot of things musically, and I would say that her name was Nubia. She was very, for lack of a better term, forgive the pun, instrumental in me, music sort of having a place in punny, yeah, in my heart and in my life. So yeah, I have her to thank for me getting into music, really.
Awesome.
I kind of started, I started playing drums in elementary school, because one day this teacher came to every class and was like, hey, if you pick up a band instrument, you get to leave class once a week or something. And I was like, what's the cheapest one I can get right now? Oh, drumsticks? Yeah, $8, cool.
Can do.
So I kind of started that in elementary school. And yeah, a lot of my music inspiration kind of comes from my older cousin making me a mixtape. A mixed CD, a burnt CD. When I was 8. And he put a lot of great stuff on it, like Blank, Newfound Glory. I think Trapped was on it, which... yeah, it was a lot of cool stuff.
That's awesome. It's really interesting to hear how people get into different genres of music. I know that I kind of grew up in a mishmash. My parents grew up listening to, the typical dad rock, and then my mom was into Motown. They got into country, so I was really into country in elementary school. And then I found a Fall Out Boy CD in my older brother's room, and that was just there she goes. Just
down.
going down. She's going emo.
Yeah.
And it's
my
really
my first CD I ever got that wasn't a burnt CD was From Under the Cork Tree.
That's the exact
great.
one I stole.
Yep.
And I think it's interesting, especially like looking at this type of scene, and even looking at like alt pop right now. A lot of alt pop people started off as like the emo, and then there's like some weird pipeline that has gotten them to there. So it's just really interesting to hear how people get to where they are. And what is the romantic tale that is, for lack of a term? How did you guys come together? What has been the process of this band forming?
Well,
Romantic tale.
Yeah, I would say it's very romantic. You can't see his hand, but it's on my knee.
I bet, yeah. I know, that's why it's below the camera, I'm sure.
But yeah, we used to play in another band with another group of folks, and then that sort of just turned into this, and you know, we've had a couple lineup changes, and but I would say that this really came from me and Chris playing in another group together previously, and it's only really I would say in the last couple of years has it taken the sort of shape that it is now. So yeah, I would say that's kind of how this got started, and then our bass player Arthur, who we love very much, he came to us from another band, and then he introduced us to our new guitar player, Connor. We call him Coco. So yeah, just knowing each other and wanting to, after that last project sort of fizzled out, we decided we wanted to keep doing stuff, and here we are.
Heck yeah. And what does the music scene look like in good old Yonkers, Westchester area? How does it look over there?
I actually love the music scene here. I know a lot of people like to talk down on like their local scene, or like they overhype it in a certain way, but there's like a lot of good camaraderie. Is that camaraderie? Yeah. Amongst the music scene here, everyone kind of like supports each other. There's not really like the competition that a lot of other music scenes have, where like I feel like all the musical styles here are also really different, so it like leaves everyone open to do their own thing.
Yeah. Everyone here is very, very supportive of one another. We're actually very excited. Our next show, we're kind of playing with a bunch of the local Yonkers bands, and so that shows those kinds of shows are always really fun, because all the friends are there. We're all supporting. We're all having fun. So it's very, very supportive. And like Chris said, yeah, most of the bands are pretty different. I don't think any two bands out here are the same. So, but we all love each other. We're all incredibly supportive of one another, which is important. That's how local scene thrives.
Yeah,
for sure. And for you guys growing up, how did I don't know if you guys grew up in the Yonkers area, but how did that affect you guys getting into the music scene? Did you guys participate in it younger on, or did you guys kind of get into it as you grew older?
So I'm from Yonkers. Ryan's actually from the Bronx.
BX.
Like original.
Period. Yeah.
No, at like younger age, there wasn't really, at least to my knowledge, like when I was in high school and stuff, there wasn't too much going on in Yonkers. Like there was, I just wasn't aware of it. There wasn't many like all ages types of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't really start for me at a local level until like a little bit after high school.
Okay.
I know you were.
Yeah, I was in the Bronx. I would later find out that there's actually a pretty big, like rock kind of music, alternative rock scene in the Bronx. That we sort of discovered from playing all these like local shows, mm-hmm. and the more local shows you play, the more you kind of branch out. And now we know a bunch of bands that sort of play in the Bronx. But like when I was growing up, I didn't realize that was a thing. Like we know Bronx bands like Tally's Gone Wrong and Conversing with Oceans. They all play sort of in the South Bronx, at this bar called Jimmy Ryan's. It's kind of a local hub of Bronx music. But I like I said, I really didn't start getting into music until I was in high school, because I was trying to impress that girl. And then we went to high school with one of the people that played in the first group that me and Chris were in, and that's how me and Chris know each other, because of that person. So I don't know if I answered your question. I do go off the rails a little bit.
That's okay.
A lot, but yeah, take whatever you will from whatever I just said.
That was great, well worded. No, that absolutely makes sense, and I think that it's really different to hear about if people do experience the music scene in a younger age, because I know, like, not that I play any music, but at least as like an active listener, I guess would be the best way to put that. I didn't really do any like participation until I went to college, and I went to college in Florida. I'm from DC. So the Florida scene is very different from the DC music scene, and now that I'm back in the DC area, I'm very curious to start like experiencing, the camaraderie of all of these things, even though I'm not really I'm not in a band. But it's really interesting in how the way music scenes can form and kind of shape people starting their music careers and continuing on and forming bonds and relationships that create bands as it does. So that was
every story is different.
Yeah.
And let's see, you guys obviously are recording or releasing a record December 7th, Welcome to Your New Normal, which I want to talk about. What has been, especially with this last year, I can only imagine, but what has been the biggest challenge in this process? Did you guys finish it pre-COVID and then just kind of waited, or what was the process like?
I think we finished it after. I mean, saying pre-COVID's tough because it depends on who you ask. We're still in the thick of COVID, so definitely So I was in California for 2 months quarantining because that's where my girlfriend's from, and she wanted to be with her family because that's as close as many of us are going to come to retirement. So she stood there, and I kind of, while I was there, I was working on lyric writing. And then when I got back, when things sort of, because everybody knows that those first 2 months, March and April, were pretty scary. But after I got back, we started practicing again, and we booked a studio session up with Nada recording. Is it Nada or Nadja? It's Nada. It's Nada. With this incredible producer, engineer. His name is John. Niclario. His last name is a riddle to my mind, but. So we got the first chunk of it done after March, April. So I don't know if you would consider that pre-COVID, but
no, that's COVID.
That's COVID. Yeah,
I would say if you take the 12 songs off the album, maybe half were almost finished pre-COVID. Like they were like songs that we could play, and then we finished the other half during COVID. Mm-hmm. Kind of just since shows weren't a thing, we just focused on writing and doing stuff like
exactly.
That.
So, like, we spent a couple months filling out. He's exactly right. There was a bunch of songs we had been playing for a while that we hadn't recorded, and then we thought, we released a couple EPs, but we wanted to do a full-length sort of LP, and so we thought, let's fill out the rest of this bad boy and put some more songs in it, and then we spent a couple months doing that until we were ready to record.
Yeah, and for this record, I know a few bands have realized they took the extra time and it was kind of worth it. Do you think that having this extra time and kind of extra mental space with everything that has happened will change the way you guys do music, record music, and write music in the future?
Oh, definitely. I would say we did a lot of our earlier songwriting kind of in the moment, like while we're practicing and stuff. But considering how we always seem to have shows coming up or tours that a lot of our practices ended up just being
rehearsing.
Yeah, rehearsing, and then we try to fit in some songwriting. But COVID kind of taught us to just relax a little bit, to try to just focus on having full days to have songwriting sessions, Yeah,
because there was no shows coming up, so we could dedicate pretty much all of our time to writing, which was nice. Because when you're doing the same songs over and over again, as much as you love the songs, it sort of gets repetitive, and that's why writing new stuff is always refreshing, and always, we leave those songwriting sessions feeling really fulfilled, I guess, and excited. Oh my god, we wrote this thing, it's gonna be awesome, and so yeah, I would say COVID and the way it sort of forced us to shift gears from rehearsing to writing. That's something we're trying to move with moving forward. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah, heck yeah. So this is a random question, but I feel like everybody picked up a random hobby or skill throughout the last year and a half. Did you guys pick up any random hobbies or skills?
No, I wasted most of my free time.
You have a whole album coming out. I don't know if you
He beat a lot
wasted.
of video games, man. He beat a lot of it. Don't sell yourself short. I stole my brother's camera and I just started doing photography and
Heck
picking
yeah.
up film photography work, and that's something I'm still doing today. So that was a pretty productive thing that I picked up. I'm really glad I did. I played a lot of piano over quarantine. Um, yeah, so I would say piano and photography were two things that with all the free time, I was like, let me do something.
Yeah, I actually picked up film too because I did a pretty good amount of concerts prior to COVID, and then I was like, well, what do I do with my time now? I got a couple cameras, and I was like, 35 millimeter it is. Let's find out if I can do it. And then it
Nice.
was, a downward spiral from there.
Yeah, it's like the film photography is like a rabbit hole. I'm still learning things every day.
Oh no. Can you guys still hear and see me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. You guys disappeared. Maybe you'll come back. It is still recording the video, so I'll just stare at myself. But it is still being recording, so if it might randomly pop back up, I hope. But I just think this last year's been so crazy, so hearing what people have done and to fulfill their times. Yeah, beating the video games is pretty insane. I think that's impressive.
Yeah, that's not something to be taken lightly. Some of those video games are very difficult.
I feel like you're like adults talking to a child, just being like, "Oh, you did good, honey."
No, I play a lot of video games too. Chris is incredibly good at video games.
Heck yeah.
You should see this guy play Call of Duty, man. I can't hold a candle to this. He's so good. I'm complimenting you.
So for the production process, you did mention somebody's name that I'm not going to remember because I have a memory of a goldfish. But were you guys the main producer, or not producers, the writers on it? And then you had the one gentleman who, again, I can't remember his name, who was the main producer on it?
Yeah, his name's John Niclario.
Niclario.
He runs Not a Recording. I forgot where exactly.
It's somewhere upstate.
Yeah, it's like an hour up. But he, like, in the past, he's worked with, like, bands like My Chemical Romance, Brand New, Matchbook Romance. Just, like, a lot of huge artists that, like, really inspired a lot of the music that I want to make. And it was just so cool to work with him because he knows what he's doing and he has so much experience. But yeah, we're basically the main writers, and, he gave little tips here and there and, like, told us when we were fucking up. But
yeah, and that's why working with him was really awesome, because so many times you go into the studio with sort of this preconceived notion that, it's finished as is, but I think a piece of music can always be improved upon, and John had a really good ear and a really good wit about him for, you know what, you're doing it this way, but maybe try it this way. I think this thing could sound really cool, and we try it, and we'd be like, oh my god, he was onto something. So he had a really good mind for like spontaneous creativity, and we worked with producers who were not as sort of proficient at they would just sort of record the song as is, and there have been a lot of times we've listened back to a recording and we're like, oh man, we wish there's something that could have been done differently here, and we wish kind of the producer caught that. So that's why having one of those is important.
Yeah.
And, like, my favorite thing that John does that most other producers didn't do is I want to be told when I'm messing up. Like, because everyone does, no one's perfect. And, like, a lot of producers will just smile along and say, oh, does that sound good to you? Then it's good. But no, I want someone to call me out.
No, I think that's good, and I think that's part of the symmetry of working with a certain producer. Is there anybody you guys would love to work with in the future as a producer?
Oh, definitely.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Is he a producer?
I think so.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
No, but yeah, we have a lot of people, like, on the kind of like a list of, like, who we want to work with next.
Yeah.
Arthur is more on top of that than us.
Yeah, Arthur's the guy. Arthur's the guy to answer that question. But me personally, I just like record. I can only speak for myself, but I know that when we went to record at Nada with John, we stood there for like 2 weeks because he has this little cabin in the woods, and we could stay there while we were doing that whole process. And I had the time of my life. After sessions, it's very funny because during sessions we would be on each other's nerves because there'd be a lot of conflicting sort of ideas about something I would. This is not conflicting. This is meshing.
Yeah.
Conflicting should be this, the Donald Trump hands.
You look kind of weird doing that,
but sometimes I would have an idea about something that should be done a certain way, and Chris and Arthur would have a different idea. But usually after the sessions, once the session was done, we were hanging out in the cabin. We would drink and we would watch movies and have fun. And I always have the time of my life doing that stuff. So. As far as having someone specific that I want to work with, I just want to record music with my boys. I don't care who I'm doing it with, as long as we're having a beer after.
That's the best way to think about it. I mean, I think anybody would enjoy something with the beer after it with the boys. I mean,
I had this expression every time I was done recording. I'd be like, guys, you know what time it is? And I'd be like, it's drinky time. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun recording.
I need the "It's Drinky Time" on a button so that every time I do something, I can just click that and then just be like, "All right, yep, I made it." It's just like the
drinky time buttons. Yeah, I like it.
Press the button.
The Staples button, whatever the button.
Like that. That was easy.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. One of those.
You're onto something here.
Yeah,
listen,
you got a good mind about you. Yeah?
Listen, let me know. Let me put in some orders.
Shark Tank, let's go.
Yeah. So, your first single off this record was Jawbreakers, and the video, it was interesting. If you had to describe it to somebody who's never seen it before, how would you describe it?
It's like drugs, but instead of drugs, it's candy.
On the nose.
Yeah.
With like, when I immediately was like, because I had to write it down, I was like, how do I describe this myself? It's like wicked Willy Wonka bar candy bar. that was me just like, all right, I think this is what it kind of seems like.
I think, one thing that I wanted, at least for that song, I kind of always pictured like a hyper energetic crowd sort of song, like playing like a house show video or a live show video. But because that was still in COVID, we couldn't do something like that for it. And that's kind of like where the idea for the mannequins came from. Mm-hmm. It's like the idea of like a crowd, but not actually people.
And we're also deluded in our sugar rush, that we sort of see them as people. Was sort of we were going for irony, I guess.
Irony?
Is that irony? I don't know. Maybe I used that word incorrectly. We were going... No, he's right. I was wrong. I'm going to think about it, and then I'll figure out what term I'm trying to use. But, that is where the idea for mannequins came from, because we definitely wanted to be safe and not try to have a bunch of people, breaking social distancing mandates and... For the sake of our music video, and we thought the mannequins would be pretty cool. We each picked a mannequin, and we all dressed it like ourselves. And having mannequins was a lot easier than having other people to deal with as well. So
you don't have to feed mannequins.
You don't have to feed them. They listen to everything you want them to do.
You can take your anger out on them.
Exactly.
I just thought it was just a fun video, and I really like the song as well. It came up on, I think one of my Discover Weeklies one week, prior to chatting with Arlene. But I was like, this is nice. So I looked up the video, and I was like, this is something. This is something.
Oh, cool.
So
awesome.
And then
I get all my music from Discover Weekly basically. So I love like seeing or hearing that people are listening to us on Discover Weekly. I think that's like
for sure
one of the coolest spots for music.
It's so interesting to me because I listen to so much and like a really wide variety. So you can always tell like the weeks that I'm just like really like angry and then the weeks that I'm just like having a great time because Spotify will attack me with my Discover Weekly.
Yeah. But I feel like some weeks it's on the head and I'm like loving all the songs it picked for me, and then other weeks I'm just like, I hate all of this. Why did you pick this for me?
Yeah. And most recently you released I'm Sorry Did My Back Hurt Your Knife, and to a quote, goes out to anybody who had a friendship or partnership end prematurely. Sometimes bonds need to be severed when that happens without proper closure. So can you guys kind of talk about this track, why you picked this as the next single off the record?
Well, that was like, I've tried lately in recent years to, the most common thing that songwriters write about is, romantic heartbreak, and and to me there is a lot more to life than just a relationship not working out. There's identity crises and self crisis and all these other things, and a lot of people talk about romantic relationships that go bad, but nobody ever talks about when friendships go bad, because that's a very real thing. So that's what that song kind of came from, just an experience I had with a friend, over a decade-long friendship that kind of ended really badly, and like I said, people always talk about when a 10-year romantic relationship goes down the drain, but yeah, there's also a pretty big void after a 10-year friendship, because the friend is there with you when you're going through your heartbreak. That friend, of mine, she had seen a lot of things. She's seen me go through a lot of growth and so we were always there for each other, and then one day we weren't, and that's kind of what that song was about. Was me just trying to write about something that isn't about my love life. And that was a pretty big learning experience. The situation that the song was written about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And looking at the album, what can you tell us about the album? What should we be looking for? What are we listening to? Like, what are we going to hear off of it?
Hopefully good stuff. Hopefully good things.
I
I realized I didn't answer your other question. So if I could just backpedal for a second.
Yeah.
The reason I think we chose this to be the next song we released, I'm going to hand the mic over to Chris, because he knows why that was the second song.
Do I?
Do it?
Do I?
All right, I know. I'll tell the answer. No.
I just think it kind of starts very softly. It starts with an acoustic sort of beginning, and then it kind of explodes into a much more energetic song. And we like the dynamics of it. I think that's why we liked how it started soft and then kind of exploded. And I think dynamically it just seemed like a pretty interesting song to follow up Jawbreakers, which was kind of just energetic the whole time. If I had to take a guess as to why that was the second song.
Well, I mean, it's also the freshest song, actually, because, like I said, the rest of the album is stuff that we either did before COVID or during COVID. This song was actually, after we finished the album, we kind of went back for like a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we recorded a few extra songs, and this was on that list of extra songs, and we loved it so much that we put it on the album, too. And I think because it was so fresh, we liked it even more.
Yeah.
That also makes sense.
Yeah.
I like the two answers. We'll take it.
Yeah.
And returning to my other question about the album as a whole, a project, hopefully good things. But what more specifically are we going to hear off this record?
Well, I hope more. So we really, it was tough always for us to try to find a genre. Because, like, in some of the other EPs we have songs that are so, like, in a 5-song EP, every song would kind of feel like it was written by a different band, because they were so kind of thematically and tonally different. So hopefully we tried to be more consistent with a single kind of sound and a single kind of, because we want to forge an identity, so when people hear this, it sounds like us instead of it sounding like 10 other different kinds of bands.
Yeah.
So hopefully consistency. That's something we gave a lot of thought to when writing this record.
Yeah, because in the past I've always kind of liked that we don't fit into one specific genre. I feel like if your sound kind of fits into just one genre, that's like, you should branch out a little more, try new things, like kind of make your sound a little more unique. But like you said, our sound was always kind of scattered. So like in an EP, we would sound like, 5 different whole types of music. And this is the first time where I'm listening to something from start to finish, and I'm like, yeah, this is one sound. This sounds like us all the way through. And it's kind of nice.
Yeah, because when you're doing shows and you have a song that's really pop punk, really fast energy, really screaming, and then you go to like kind of a more funky song, it feels like from 0 to 100, and you might have had that crowd with that really energetic song, but then you've lost them with the second song because it's so different from the song you just played. So that's why like we've had a lot of talks about consistency and having this singular sort of identity. Yeah. So I think we accomplished that, and we're really proud of it.
Let me just. I've heard it all 30 times. It's great. No, I'm really excited to hear it. And can you just, in your brain, what is the ideal listening experience for somebody? Loud in the car, alone at night with your headphones in? What would you guys say would be the ideal listening experience?
We want to trap people into listening to this album. Basically, the ideal listening experience is to just get people in a room and just lock the door and make them listen to it.
Okay.
If you can't do that, then I guess I definitely think in the car. That's how I listen to most of my music. So it's kind of what I want my music to be enjoyed with, as.
Yeah. Well, I don't drive, so that is not that's not a possibility for me. And I'm from the Bronx. You don't want to have headphones on in the Bronx late at night. You need to be in tune with your surroundings in case you need to make a run for it. Yeah. But I'm a big shower guy. I love listening to music in the shower.
That's a good one.
So I would say that's where I've listened to the album that we recorded so many times, and I always have fun listening to it in the shower.
Okay. I'll have to start with locking people in a room. See how that goes.
Yeah. And make them take a shower while they're locked in the room.
Just find a local locker room shower and just blast it. Sorry guys, this is it.
Exactly.
You're gonna get clean and you're gonna listen to For Lack of a Term.
And then shove them in a bus. And then
yes.
That's right.
Takes care of the car listening. So you guys just did a short East Coast run. How was that in September?
It was fun. It's fun. Yeah. It was fun to travel again. Like I said, when we're on the road, when we're doing anything, it's I don't know. I can't describe it. There's butterflies in my stomach while I'm talking about it. It's just we're at shows, we're drinking, we're having fun, we're loving each other, we're hating each other. It's all but post tour depression is actually a real thing. Whenever we get back, I get super sad. I'm like, damn, I kind of wish we were still. Yeah. The last night they wanted to drive through the night to get back home, and I was like, I'm enjoying this, guys. Let's get one more hotel room. Let's finish all our beer and let's just have fun tonight. It's also just awesome to travel to other states and meet other bands and branch out a little bit and see some things that Yonkers doesn't have, different kinds of food. It was incredible. We're hoping to get, I think, more West Coast and Central. Is it Central or Middle America? I don't know. Sort of they're
west of us.
Yeah, west of us. There's a lot of places we play, but there's even more that we haven't. So we want to. That's what we're sort of. Again, Arthur is the man. He is the man with the plan, as far as that goes. And since I don't drive, I just sort of.
Here's along for the ride.
Yeah, but no, I have a deal that where me and my girlfriend both need to renew our permits, and then after that we're gonna get our licenses because we're gonna try to do a trip to California, and we have a pit bull, and we'd like to bring him with us.
Yeah.
But my deal was when I get my license, I have to drive for a full tour because usually or if not two of them at this point, but usually when we're driving the van, everybody's the three people that can drive alternate. So I've always thought that's not fair. So I told her when I get my license, I'm gonna drive for 2 straight tours. I got it.
You say so that now.
Yeah. But I sort of owe them, don't I?
Yeah. No, that's great. I've done the drive from Florida to Maryland way too many times through college and prior to that, so I'm like tapped out of my long skill driving. I did
a day, right? About a day's worth of driving.
It's about a full day if you really push it. And I went to Maine last year, so I drove to Maine, and that was beautiful. I'd do that 30 times, but just down that 95 strip, just straight south, is miserable.
Our time touring down south, that was definitely the hardest drives, because it's a straight line, no other cars, and it's just, you start losing your mind.
Yeah. So what is 2022, even though right now it sounds like a mythical year in my head, but what does that look like for you guys? What are we looking forward to?
Oh, we have a lot of stuff coming next year. A lot of stuff we can't talk about just yet.
Fair.
But we will be having a lot of shows. A lot of shows. We hope to have some more songs out.
Yeah,
not including
songs,
the album.
More, hopefully some video content, and more shows. Just stuff. Just stuff. There's a lot of stuff.
Stuff in 2022. We'll take it. If you guys come to DC, I'll be there.
We were in DC not too long ago, were we?
No, we drove through DC.
Oh, we drove through DC.
Yeah,
right.
I think it was like Charlotte. It wasn't Charlottesville. It was somewhere closer, but too far for me to drive in one night by myself.
The last show was in Virginia, I think.
Was it? Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Maybe.
Somewhere in Virginia.
Yeah.
Well, next time you're a little closer.
Gotcha.
I'll be there. Maybe I'll dress up as Willy Wonka.
Let's go.
So, do you guys want to play a game called Quick Pick, where I make you quick pick a song with the first song that comes to your mind with a very specific scenario?
I would love nothing more than that, honestly. How about you, Chris?
Yeah.
The excitement.
How rude would it be if we were just like, no?
I'd be like, well, you know what? We're just going to end it with one more question. I'd be like, I'll take it. I understand.
No, we want to play.
I love games. No. Let's do it.
You guys just broke up, and I have no idea what you just said.
Oh.
I said I love games. Let's do it.
We'll take it. So the first one, and let me know if you guys can't hear me, because I know you're, like, I get you guys back, and then you disappear. So as long as you can hear me, that's okay. Yeah. I'll just pretend I hear you back. The first one is you're on a train late at night, and it's a little eerie while also being a little calming. What's the first song you're putting on? I picked Sincerity is Scary by the 1975.
Ooh, good one.
Thank you.
One of my chill, somber songs, like in that situation, would probably be... I'm not into lo-fi, but there is one lo-fi song that I absolutely love by Sleepy Fish. I believe it's called I Hope the Snow Will Never Stop Falling. And it is probably, like, it's one of my favorite songs to just relax to. It's super calming.
For sure.
So Train by myself, I don't know what the first song that comes to mind is actually one of our own. It's our song Recalibrate.
Shameless self-promotion.
No, it's because we shot a music video for that song, where the first shot is kind of me on a train by myself, and then I see this girl in a mask, and you can't quite tell at the time whether or not I'm actually seeing it or if it's a figment of my imagination. So just that very first scene of that video seemed to capture the scenario you described in my head perfectly.
Makes sense. For sure.
If the next one is a song of ours, then you know I have absolutely no shame, and I'm just trying to...
You guys broke up a little bit at the end, so if it was funny, I'm laughing. I'm going to move on to the next one. You are at an amusement park on a hot summer day. It's picture perfect day until you're eating ice cream and it falls on the ground in slow motion. I immediately thought of Kali Ma by Neck Deep.
Okay. Was I having fun before the ice cream fell?
Yeah, of course. You're at an amusement park, nice summer day, it's picture perfect.
What you got?
Ice cream falling in slow motion. I don't know why I got My Hero by Foo Fighters as the ice cream is falling, just that drum part, or however it goes. Because I'm thinking of that scene from Other Guys where they jump off the building, and My Hero starts to play. So as I'm picturing the ice cream falling with the same level of dramatic intensity. Yeah.
First thing that came to my head was probably The Feudal by Say Anything. Just because that song starts with him just going shit and then just hitting like a guitar chord. And that's what I imagine if I dropped ice cream, just shit, and then the song starts.
I would be so upset. I'd probably cry, to be honest. But
That's amusement park ice cream, so you know that's expensive.
Exactly. You just spent $20 on an ice cream bar. Come on. And then I have one final one. You are on the way home from a very bad date. You drove the person, and you have to pick the song on the way home. I picked Casey Musgrave's album, Star-Crossed.
Okay, bad date. And you're alone in the car, or with the other
You're driving the
person?
person home.
Oh, okay.
It went terribly.
Oh, so awkward.
Yeah.
Especially when she finds out I don't have a car.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing worse than a bad date, and you're getting driven home on a bike.
Fine. She's behind you on your BMX bike. There you go.
I got you with some bus fare, girl. Don't worry. There's a Green Day song on their album Dos. It was that Uno Dos Tre one that I don't know. I'm feeling like an upbeat bad date. It's that that song Stray Hearts.
Yeah.
I lost my way, oh baby. That one. It's like kind of an upbeat because I'm picturing that exact scenario as like a music video, and that song kind of clicks with that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Bad date. I'm blanking on this one.
Come on, you got this.
What was that song that Arthur was singing in the car with that girl? Do you remember he took the video of it?
I took the video of it?
No, he took the video of it.
Oh, I don't know.
Damn. Then I'd have to just go safe with 10,000 miles.
That's perfect. An incredible answer.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Can I change it? I remember the name.
Yes.
Let Me Freak by Little Dicky.
Oh.
That's literally a song about just this date went terrible. Just all in. Are we doing this?
That works. That works. Depending on
And
how you want
you
to
sing on the song
go.
is basically you saying, "Let me freak,"
Exactly.
What's happening?
Oh my goodness, that was good. That was a way to save it. I liked the original answer, but I don't take that one.
That was a cop out.
So I have one final question for you guys. Musicians have the ability and the platform to leave marks on the world, whether that is a larger or smaller mark. What mark do you guys want to make as a band?
If we could, like, at any show, if there's anybody going through, I'm a big mental health advocate, and I always think if you can come to a show and you can have a good time, an incredible time, and forget about your problems for even just the length of a 3-minute song, that 3 minutes you're not thinking about whatever it is that is eating at you, sort of, take that as a blessing. So I guess I want to leave just joy, and I just want to try to uplift people and make sure they have a really good time when they're watching us, just because everybody's going through something, and if we can make them forget about it for the length of our set, then that to me is a very formidable mark to leave. So that would be my answer.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I feel like if someone's watching us play live, I just want them to be happy. However that could be,
Yeah.
Dancing, making fun of us.
Yeah.
Laughing at us, laughing with us. However it is, as long as they're happy.
Exactly. We're big on mental health support and awareness. So we just want people to be happy.
I like that answer a lot, and I think that music is such a revolving factor of so many people's lives, including my own. And with shows being back, being able to stand in the audience, masked up and everything, I'm just like, this is a moment of peace for me, even if people are screaming and shouting around me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, music is the go-to, when you're sort of going through it, and music is always there for you, and that's what we try to sort of impart at shows.
Heck yeah. Well, for lack of a term, thank you guys so much for hanging out today.
Thank you.